Sam and Snez, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm so excited to speak to you guys. I feel like your season of The Bachelor was actually the very first season that I watched, and I also feel like that must seem like such a throwback for you guys. Is it?
It really is.
Well, it was 10 years ago this year. So
yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago. I mean, since then, we got married, we've had another 3 kids.
Yes.
You know, Eve's off to New York studying, and just been. Can't believe it's been 10 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
like
so much has happened, and I wouldn't have ever dreamt or anything like that when I went on that show, all this would have come from it.
Right? Yeah. No, I love it. So for those listening, I have Sam and Snez here. They fell in love on The Bachelor 2015, and since leaving the show, as Snez said, they've got they've had 3 more daughters, and they've got a beautiful Evie as well. And they are the founders of the wildly successful PT studio, the Woodshed Gym, and the online fitness and nutrition program 28 by Sam Wood. So as you said, you guys have been incredibly busy. What are the ages of your children?
All right, so we go 20. I have to think about this.
7, 5 and 3.
There we go. 7, 5 and 3.
How do you just on that, mic drop, the fact that you are able to juggle that many children, but how do you juggle it all?
We don't.
We don't. It's constant chaos.
It's an absolute shit show.
It really is.
It really is. Snez just got back from New York, which is I'm not trying to be a hero because I had the 3 little ones. That's only ever happened once before, but this was for the longest time. And Snez got home and the house was interesting.
I wish
I'd say interesting to say the least. And she looks at me and I literally just said, "We survived. We didn't thrive. It was fucking hard." That's what I said. And she just sort of looked at me and rolled her eyes and gave me a hug at the same time. It was a bit of a mixed reaction, but I think it's really important to say to people, because people think you've got this Instagram existence where they're like, "Oh, you guys kill it." And two things people assume is, one, we've got heaps of help. We've got no help. We've got a babysitter who's a teacher and available a couple of nights a week if we're lucky. Yeah. And she's wonderful, but she's a full-time teacher. Yeah. And Snez's family's in Perth and my family's in Tassie. And it's a juggle, and we're often drowning, and we just, as much as sometimes we're a bit stressed and overwhelmed, we kind of just laugh at it because what else can you do? Yeah. I don't know. I see a lot of things these days where, and I need to take this on board more, but, once your kids have left home, it's the madness and the noise and the chaos that you miss the most. And it was that in the moment that used to drive you crazy. And I think about that a lot now, being a little bit grumpy and being, wanting things a particular way that's just an unrealistic expectation when a 3, 5 and 7-year-old are racing around the house on their scooters and fighting with each other and all that stuff. That's actually the magical moments that you'll miss the most. And I'm trying to be as present as I can in those moments and remind myself that don't get grumpy by these, actually appreciate that this is the warmth and coming home from the 28 office, it's just it's chaos, but it's beautiful. It's warm. The fires are light. There's hugs. It's, Snez is hanging on by a thread to her sanity, but laughing at it in the moment. And we just sort of, there's group hugs, and we've got this crazy little 3-year-old who's got crazy hair, and she's it's actually a beautiful, beautiful life. And the closeness that the 3 girls have with their big sister Evie is so lovely. And I feel like even though she's on the other side of the world, the FaceTimes and how much they miss each other and sending each other little gifts and making sure Evie's still part of all the big moments like birthdays and stuff with FaceTime. And we haven't all been over to New York as a family yet because going 24 hours on a plane with a 3-year-old is not my idea of a good time. But next year we are going to. We're going to have a white Christmas as a family next year when Harper's 4.5.
Oh my God. And how was it, I guess, Nez, like when you had the opportunity to spend time with Evie and then come back to the fold? Talk to us about it.
Well, it was so lovely just to spend that one-on-one time with Eve, because when she was back home, I think, with her 3 little sisters, it was a lot of interrupted conversations, interrupted time.
Yes.
So we never actually got that one-on-one time together. And if we did, it was 1 hour just rushing around before I had to pick up, her little sisters. Yeah. So to have that one-on-one time uninterrupted was so nice. You got to chat and just hang out and just do things together. And it was nice to see how much she's grown and how things have changed. Like, I was in her apartment and I'd left the lights on and she'd come back. She's like, Mum, can you turn the lights off? I have to pay for that. I was like,
let's see if she's like that when she gets back under the house. That's the
I'm like,
test.
okay, I'm sorry.
And she's not paying.
But it's just so nice, and to see her in her new home now and, her new neighbourhood, and she just navigates everything. So it's like she's been there her entire life.
Yeah.
She knows New York like the back of her hand. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice, but at the same time I was missing the girls. So I was really torn. Like, I wanted to stay there longer, but then I was really missing the girls.
Snez has been torn since the day we met.
Yeah.
Because you're always,
I have.
It's, I want to move to Melbourne, but I'll miss my family.
Yeah.
And then it's been wonderful moving to Melbourne, and now we've got babies, and I'm always torn between spending
time with
Evie and
needing to spend
you have
time
to
with the
be
little
with the
ones.
little ones. They're so dependent on you at that young age.
Yeah.
And now it's
constant mother guilt.
Oh, totally.
It's constant.
Yes.
It's, not spending enough time with Evie, spending
Yes.
too much with the girls, and then not spending enough time with the girls and being present.
Yes.
Well, and then
And
you
then
add,
with
you
and
always feel a bit torn between not being enough career focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, there's never
being
like
the better
that.
partner. Like, that's
Yeah,
just
it's
so
just
Oh, that's so far down the list.
That's at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had to say that actually. That's under the couch. That's a long list, and that's we haven't got to that page yet.
I can so relate to that, what you're saying. I'm curious as well, going on the show, I'm throwback to 10 years ago, being a mother at the time. So to those listening, if you don't know, Snez had Evie. How old was she?
She was she had a 9th birthday once. I finished 8.
She was 8 when you got. And so how many weeks were you away from her for?
It was like 3 months. He ended
3
up
months,
being.
yeah.
I thought it'd be like a week. And that was the first time I'd ever left Evie, even for I hadn't
They'd
spent
never
a day.
spent a night apart.
Never.
Before the show.
Never before the show.
It was
since I
Evie's
had her.
idea
Yeah.
Was
to
it?
go on the show.
It's like, are you sure
And
you understand
Snez
what
said,
this means?
I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'll see you in 2 days. And got back
I thought
13 weeks later.
Single mum, who's going to want to, I thought
right.
I'm going to be, he's going to find out I'm a single mum. He's going to see ya. I don't need that extra kind of stress or, situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being 3 months.
How did she go?
She was actually she did really well.
Yeah.
She was there with my parents. We were living with my family at the time.
Yeah.
So she was there with mum and dad, and they were just spoiling
She's
her rotten.
super close with
Yeah. Okay.
Snez.
Yeah, and she understood what it all meant. Like, she's a real mature little girl. I don't know if it's because, she's grown up around my parents, grandparents around, and my sister, and she's just always been like an old soul.
Yes.
So she understood, and she really wanted me to meet somebody and just feel that part of my life that she knew was missing. And
she was a vault too. The other parents
she
of the school
told
of her
everybody.
school were saying, "Is your mum back? She's been gone a long time.
She's like,
Can you tell us what's going on?" And she just
just told
tight-lipped,
nobody.
didn't say anything
nobody
to
at all.
anyone. Just absolute vault.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And you're right. She's obviously pretty mature. And I think there's something to be said around hanging out with a lot of adults. I
Yeah.
can sort of relate to that. I grew up in a family where I'm half Greek, half Nigerian. I had, when I was in my first 7 years of life, my Nigerian auntie was in the house with us. My Greek grandparents were basically my pseudo parents as well. And for the first 6 years, I was an only child. And I've got 2 younger sisters who are 18 months apart.
So you've been
so
around
the same,
the
where
adults.
you around all the adult conversations.
Yeah.
You sort of look at life a little bit differently.
You do, yeah.
I'm curious from your perspective, Sam, because obviously, I mean, I've read a little bit about the fact that you were because you can make a decision when you've got a a child that comes into your life that isn't biologically yours, you could be like, I'm going to be, really involved and act as the dad figure, or I'm going to have, let the mum sort of take charge. You, from what I believe happened, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you were like, right, I'm going to step in and be that dad role. What was that like for you?
I think it was twofold. It was never even a question to me that I wasn't Evie's dad.
Yeah.
I've never really even thought of her as my stepdaughter. She's my daughter, and I've felt like that since the beginning, and I hope that she's felt that too. Yeah. But I was also equally as conscious that she needed to sort of dictate the speed in which the relationship formed and grew, and I didn't want to come on too strong. So I don't know, I felt, which is a bit of a juggle. Like, I thought it was a disservice to treat her differently. And Snez and I have had many a robust conversation about the fact that I'm quite hard on all the girls. I'm a bit old school parent style. But before the little ones came along, and when they were super little, Snez would be like, oh, you're tough on her. And I'm like, I think she needs that toughness because she's got you wrapped around her little finger.
She does. She really does.
And their relationship's the most beautiful. Yeah. I've never met two people in my life that are as close as you and Eve.
Yeah, like, it's not to say that we constantly pick up. We were about to kill each other in New York, but
it's crazy. But as she got older, she got smarter and had you wrapped around a little finger, as I said, and I felt like she needed a bit of a stronger father figure there to maybe balance it out a little bit. Yeah. And Snez would say, you're tough on her. I'm like, I'll be equally as tough on our other daughters.
Yeah. And I think once the other girl, since they've become a little bit older and sad, and I think Evie did start to see, well, hang on. She's like, she'd say to him, she's like, oh, I feel sorry for those girls.
Snez would say, you're not as tough on Willow, and I'm like, because Willow's 3.
No,
it's got nothing to do with it.
That he wouldn't
Willow.
be as tough on the other 3 little girls, but then I went, no, you are. You're exactly the same.
My dad was tough. Well, my dad was tough on me.
Yeah,
and, he's got a soft side, but he was tough, and I truly believe that the person I've become and the success that we've had, and is due to the fact that. There were boundaries, and he was sort of strong-minded and big on manners and all this stuff.
I just thought of something Evie said to me while we were in New York. I remember when Evie was in high school, and Sam would want Evie to leave the house at, this time to make sure she walks to school and is there on time.
Yeah.
And she said to me, we'd be walking around New York and she'd hear the sound of a G-Wagon, which is a quite distinct sound of the engine. She's like, oh my God, that gives me PTSD to when I used to have to be out of the house and I'd hear Sam's car rock up and I'd be like, oh, shit. It's like I still got PTSD from that.
And now I bet she's probably on time a lot of the time because
she's getting better.
Right? She's getting a lot better. Yeah.
Look, all of these things these are important life skills, and if you're not able to keep a schedule and it is important. And I know, Evie and I really banged heads when she was 15, 16 and it was during lockdown and she was sort of trying to find herself as a year 10, year 11 student. There was a lot going on, and retrospectively I probably was a bit too hard on her, not understanding quite the journey she was going through, trying to find herself and a bit of an identity thing. But also COVID, exacerbated everything. But I don't know. I think most of the toughness has been good for her now. She's now in the other thing too is, and I mean this in the nicest way, the fact that she's gone to New York is the best thing for her, because Snez as a Macedonian mum would have continued to do everything for her. And now she's over there on the other side of the world. Yeah. She has to figure it out for herself. Mm-hmm. And she's smart. She'll just go, oh, Mum, how do I do this? And instead of Snez going, you do it this way, Snez will do it for her.
Yes.
Which is, beautiful, but also she goes, oh, Mum will fix it.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, sweet.
Which I used to.
Whereas over there, she has to work it out.
Right.
And it's, I
Just to
think
make
that's
her
why
own
she's
bed,
matured
she's
so
gotta do
much.
her everything herself.
Yeah.
Snez and I have both visited her in the last couple of months
Yeah.
individually and
Yeah.
spent a bit of time with her to help her get settled in an apartment and just spend that one-on-one time with her.
Yeah.
And we both noticed in the first 12 months how much she's grown up.
Yeah.
And just, she's a lot more worldly. She's got a lot more perspective. She's got more gratitude. You know, all of these things that, you know, really lovely to see. Like she's sort of working stuff out for herself, and she's gained a lot of confidence too. Like I think she's, you know, much more comfortable getting out of her comfort zone and going out and meeting people and, you know, stuff where it's a bit easy when you're cozy and at home and you've got all your school friends and it's a bit easy to just take the easy option.
She's in a world city. Like that's no joke.
She is,
like,
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
and
survive
it's
or
just-
thrive moment.
Yeah, it really is.
Was it a concern? Like, did you have to stop for a bit and think, do we want her to go? Are we comfortable with her going? What was the decision?
I think
Well,
like,
it was her
she
decision.
always, she's been saying that. She would say, so when, like 13, 14, she said that she was like a flippant comment that she made once that, you know, I want to go to uni in New York. And we're like, yeah, whatever.
Snez would say to me, I know she should go and it'll be the best thing for her, but I can't pretend I want her to go because it's killing me. Like,
We've raised her to be confident and strong and soar and, you know, follow her dreams and everything like that. And I'm so proud that she has gone and done that. You know, that's what I've raised her to do. But at the same time, I would have liked her to be under my roof and still be making her bed and telling
till
her,
she's
you know,
45.
why don't you make your bed? And then she starts to do it and she's not doing it right. And I'll be like, just go, I'll do it.
But it is nice. She comes home a couple of times a year. You know, she wanted a bedroom upstairs when she was a teenager to get as far away from her uncool
And her
parents as
sisters
possible
and,
and her
you know,
sisters who drive her crazy. She now comes home and sleeps in the spare room opposite us
Across
in the
out,
hall.
she wants to be
And
downstairs
wants to be
next
close
to,
to
all of
us.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't come home from the other side of the world to not be close to you guys. And it's just a little thing, but it's really nice.
And she's got 2 bedrooms.
Yeah,
One upstairs and one else.
right. You're like, that works. No, I love that. And I'm curious, what was the hardest transition? Was it 1 child to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4? What was it? What do you reckon?
Excuse me. I think I think you just take every stage for granted until the
next one comes.
You think one is so hard and then one little one.
Yeah.
And then you have another little one and you're, oh my God, I wish I'd done
After
more when
3,
we
I
just had
think it's
one.
just like gloves are off.
Yeah.
You're just
When
you're
Harper
like, you know
came
what?
along, it
Don't
was
even care. I
like-
think Harper's first meal was a little cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Like the first solid that she had. I was like, here, have some of your cheeseburger. Like it just ends up being, look, I'm not gonna it's not gonna be like
Well, she and her roll with the punches, resilience.
Yeah.
Like she's just a little bruiser who just goes with the flow. Nothing phases her.
Yeah.
She gives as good as she gets.
Yeah.
And I think because I think it's both. I think that's her naturally, but also that's a product of her being the youngest and in that environment.
Yeah.
It's sort of both combined. But yeah, it's you definitely get to the point. I know we tell ourselves every year, literally, next year is going to be the year when things get easier. And we still haven't been on a honeymoon.
We still haven't been. It's
We
like
haven't.
10 years.
We haven't. We've
No honeymoon. We haven't even been on a holiday together.
Yeah,
it's always separate, except for with all the kids.
Yeah.
Which a holiday with all the kids, if any mum out there can completely agree, is not a holiday. You literally need a vacation after that just to. You're literally taking all your chaos and just
moving
even
it
with
to
the
moving
numbers
it
being
to
so
another
little.
location where you don't have your creature comfort.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
they would love to stay with your parents, but they're a lot. And we don't really think it's fair to say, do you want to stay with Mum and Dad for a week while we go on a holiday? Because
they'd love it.
they would,
They
but
would love
I
it.
feel
The
like
kids
maybe
would love
next
it.
year when they're 4.
Yeah.
Just something about the age as well. I think as they get a bit more older, a bit
Yeah.
more independent,
Yeah.
you
It's
kind
just
of
hard. Like it's just when
It's
the
just hard
littlest
at the moment,
is pretty full on all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
she's
oh,
very energetic.
but then you see where Charlie's at, who's nearly 6. Like she's very independent now.
Yeah,
and
Charlie was fine at
and
4,
very
like
easy
to
kid.
fly anywhere with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Harper's just a bit more.
Snez will send me destinations, like, oh, what a beautiful place. I'd love to go here one day with you. And I'm like, yeah, no worries.
Mate, add it to that
65.
vision
Yeah.
board.
We've got a big vision board for our 60s.
Yeah.
We're going to be tearing this world apart.
With my Zimmer frame. I'm like, I want to go on a honeymoon before
Zimmer
I've got
frame
my
on
Zimmer
cobblestone
frame. Like,
roads through Italy. That's
So just on that, because I love that, and it's such a valid point. Like, do you guys have time for each other in this season that you're in? And any sort of key challenges? I mean, I heard on Mamma Mia, Sam, you sort of opened up and said, look, you know, it's not an easy ride, even from a couple's perspective. Talk to us about that, because there's a lot to juggle in amongst it all.
Yeah, look.
absolute chaos at the moment. We've got very little time for each other. We do have to make time for each other. We need to do a lot better at doing that. Yeah. I mean, in between work and all these work projects that we both have, the kids and all the different ages that they're at and all the different needs that they have, and after school sport, and then it comes time for date night and we're both like, let's go watch a movie somewhere where you can just like.
I think you have to sort of say, look, every time, and you know, it's probably 50-50, but every time we do make the effort, make the time, we both go, we both sort of look at each other and go, it actually wasn't as hard as perhaps we told ourselves in that moment of exhaustion, and we do need to do this more often. But yeah, we're getting better at, you know, and we spoke with someone, which I spoke with a Mamma Mia, just about helping have those conversations really. And since The Bachelor, our lives have been an absolute roller coaster that I think we thought would be a 1 or 2 year thing and then slow down. And because of amazing work opportunities and you know, going from 1 to 4 children, it just hasn't. And it is what it is. Like I wouldn't swap it for anything. I kind of like being busy, and we have this amazing life that I'm so appreciative of. We both are. We talk about that a lot. But yeah, when neither of us are very good at slowing down. Yeah. And I think that's
I don't like not being busy.
Yeah.
I don't like
Snez sort of likes
anything.
being manic, and I always am thinking about, like, I'm not very good at slowing my brain down.
Yes.
Snez is not very good at sort of physically slowing down.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm like an organised chaos kind of gal.
Yeah.
Like, give me organised chaos any day.
Yeah, you're like literally coming here today.
Yeah.
Snez comes out. Like, honestly, you have to, it's like a movie. She's got a coffee. She gets into the car with her trench coat. She nearly throws the door off the hinges because she opens it in such a like manic manner. And then she gets in the car with her coffee and decides she's too hot. She's trying to take her coat off in the car. I'm like, if only you could see yourself from the outside looking in sometimes. It's literally like you make things so much harder than they need to be. I'm like, we're in a hurry. Beep the horn. She's like, flapping her arms around. It's like a pterodactyl trying to get into a mini or something. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
I wish there was a camera on you constantly just to take
because I don't
footage
think she
of
sees
you.
it. Like if she saw what I saw, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, hang on. It's hot in here. I'm like, you've walked 3 steps from the house to the car. Why did you even put your coat on anyway?
It's so funny. And this organised chaos is where it can be quite, you know, testing on relationships. I speak to so many couples, and many of who have sort of gone through couples counselling and things like that. And I always love to ask, like, what, you know, for those people listening who might be sitting there going, yeah, I'm in a really tough time with my partner. Yeah. Any sort of hot tips or things that have really supported you guys around communication maybe, or around seeing the other person's perspective, or?
Yeah, I think well, I definitely think while you're away I gained a much better perspective at just how hard it is with all 3 kids, and just how little time you have. Like actually proper time to you know, think and respond to emails and get some work done. Like it's just
trying to keep on top of house.
Yeah, it's just relentless. But it's sort of it's about finding those little pockets of time where you just remove the noise and the distractions. Like I feel like you put kids to bed and that's a 60 to 90 minute exhausting window every day. I love it. You know, bath time and dressing gowns and school reading and dinner and brushing teeth and like it's madness, and they're procrastinating and trying to not go to, put off going to bed and all that kind of stuff. And that's a daily grind. So then when it gets to the end of that, the last thing you probably feel like doing is sitting down with each other and having a glass of wine or having a proper conversation. Like it's sort of like on to the next thing, putting the washing on, cleaning the kitchen, wiping the kitchen table down.
Getting the
like
lunches
just
ready.
watching a show on Netflix and just turning the brain off completely or something. Whereas you got to make that time. I think the biggest thing for us is, and we don't do it daily or anything, we're not amazing, but I think once a week to spend 15, 20 minutes and have a conversation uninterrupted. The other thing we try to do is have a date night on a Wednesday night where a babysitter does come. Charlotte comes over and we don't go on these extravagant bachelor style hot air balloon dates. But we just have a little bit of uninterrupted time when we know the kids are being looked after and we can spend some time with each other and that makes and honouring that because we've failed a few times. Yeah. It started out great. It was every Wednesday until it wasn't. And then you go, shit, we haven't done that for 6 Wednesdays. Yeah. Where did we lose our way with that, don't we? And, and one of us will go, I'm calling Charlotte. I'm going to get that to happen again. Yeah. And we get back into a good it's like fitness habits, you train them well and you're eating well, and then when you drop the ball, you really drop the ball and you can't even remember where you lost your way. Yeah. We're definitely like that with our relationship. But excuse me, I think the big thing for me is we keep saying to ourselves, we're going to do these, we're going to travel with the girls, meeting Evie, get the family, and I think it's really important that we do that. Yeah. I think from next year, that's something I think if we've said from when Harper turns 4, we're going to do that. I think it's really important that we actually honour that and do that. And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a glamorous holiday. It's going to be
it's still not going to be just us two. We'll get to that honeymoon sooner or later. But I think it's important that we do. Take the girls and spend that time with the girls. But, we also need to make time for ourselves more. And even if that's like, a little night or weekends away, which we've been saying we're going to do for so long. But there's always there's so much on constantly in our schedules that trying to make that time is hard. And we do have to kind of go, that's it. We're going to block this time out and don't care what work stuff is on. We're going to tell everybody, that is our time. Yeah.
It's more kids.
It's hard.
I think it's
and coordinating
babies. We're not. Neither of us are very good at letting go. Yeah, and we both don't really like being away from the kids. Yeah, but I think a night here or there would be so
like staycations,
valuable. And we'd get back and we'd be like, the kids had an absolute ball. Yeah. And we probably built that up in our minds to be a bigger deal than it was. Yeah. And this is a learning from other friends who have got kids of similar ages who absolutely leave their kids with help, family or otherwise, way more than we do. Yeah.
But I think it's normally because it's the grandparents or the sisters or the brothers or whatever, the aunties, uncles, where you can just go last minute, we want to do this.
Yes and then no. I think there's a lot more leaving them with babysitters than perhaps we realise. And yes, they might have family help too, but they've gotten just very comfortable leaving their kids with babysitters that they know are great and they can trust, and they do heaps more longer stuff, not just a date or a dinner or something. Like they go away a lot together. Yeah,
it's about getting it in the diary, isn't it? And also overcoming that first hump. And let's be real, your youngest is 3. You guys are still in the trenches.
Totally.
I think 4 was a turning point for my boys. I've got a 6 and 5-year-old. Yeah. 4, you're like, okay, here we go. They're a little independent. You can they're sleeping a bit better and all that.
And they understand things a bit more.
Fall off the top bunk and hurt themselves while you've gone an hour away.
100%.
And they just understand things. Like I can't remember, I think it was the last trip to Perth. I think it was just Evie and I and the girls. I can't remember who it was, but then Harper, we were on the plane. It was just to Perth, so it's not that far of a flight. Yeah. And Harper starts yelling and screaming. She wants to get off the plane. She's had enough. Oh, and we're just like, you can't get off the plane. She goes, no, I want to get out. And she's pointing the door, screaming, crying the entire flight.
Where was that camera, by the way? Because we needed to film that.
it was the most horrendous. It was like from start to finish, just screaming and crying and
no.
tantrums because she wanted to get off the plane, and you just couldn't explain or reason with her.
Yeah.
Whereas I think at 4, you can.
yes.
You can't. We're up in the air. You have to just sit
Yeah,
here,
I
play on
genuinely
your
think we're a
iPad.
year away from
Colour
that
in.
being
I agree.
in the rearview mirror, which, I mean, like you say it's been 10 years since, that's gone so fast.
Is it? Yeah.
To wait another year.
Yeah.
Like this year's
we still
nearly
don't feel
over.
old.
Yeah.
You know, like we still feel like young parents who
Exactly.
can have this, you know, we can go on all these adventures. There's no rush. Like,
No. Enjoy the season that you're in.
yeah,
you know,
and we
as-
haven't missed anything with the girls.
Yeah.
Like we've been there for absolutely everything, and I love that too.
Yeah. No, I love that.
I don't know. You can never have. I don't know. You always think the grass is greener.
Yes.
You're always.
True.
You're always looking at other couples going, oh, they've got it nailed and they don't.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
like it's
It's just
never-
an Instagram
It's
picture.
never Insta perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. I ask all of our guests this final question. How has parenthood changed you as a person?
I'm a lot more tired.
That's so true.
In every way. It's been, you go first, Ellen.
Oh, I don't know. Like I've been, since I had Eve at 24, I think you just start to realize what really matters, and things that once mattered don't matter anymore. And you see a different perspective on just basically everything, on, the things you say, do, the people that you surround yourself with. I think it's really important. And, you just start to go, okay, this is not just my life. This is something that I'm doing for my child, and I want them to, grow up with, these role models around them, and I want to be the best role model that I can be. That doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect, but you want them to see that you want them to be resilient. So you want them to see you struggle and make it through, and just keep climbing and just get knocked down and get back up. So then they can do the same thing when they grow up. So I think it's made me a lot stronger. It's made me more stubborn. I don't know. Just stubborn. No, is stubborn the right
stubborn,
word? Yeah.
if that's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, just kind of like, no bullshit. This is how I feel, this is what I want, and that's it. I'm not going to be a pushover. I'm not going to bow down to people. I'm not going to conform to other people's opinions or standards or anything like that. And I don't ever want my...
you say that because I've noticed with Evie, particularly as our relationship's gotten better and better and better, she admires your strength and independence, and always has, because she's clearly had the front row seat to that as a single mum. But she also loves now that you've got someone who not takes care of you, but cares about you.
Yeah.
And like she said stuff to me where it's like, I love how strong and independent my mum is, but I also love that I can see that now someone takes care of it, where she never would have admitted that she needed that or wanted that,
or
even.
help. Yeah, I'm not very good at asking for help or being help with anything.
But you're
I'm
horrible at that.
Shocking.
But I think she has seen and would notice that more than anyone. And it's only more recently where she sort of, as she's matured a little bit, and moved away, where she said a couple of things like it's, thanks
Evie and Sam have a lot of
thanks for taking care of my mum.
conversation.
And it's like,
that's so
interesting.
beautiful.
It's like it's an interesting thing for you to sort of say after all this time.
Yeah.
Where it's, I don't know, it's maybe it's just dawning on her now, because she was in the moment and 10 and 11 and she was pretty young.
It's
But,
such a full circle moment,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it
That's
is.
beautiful as a parent to kind of feel like you're getting that recognition. It's so lovely.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
and
having us.
for being
We
here
never
today.
do this. We don't even do podcasts together. That's how little time we
that's how little
spend.
time we have. We can't sync our schedule.
We're going to go and have lunch together. This is amazing.
This is indulgent.
Yeah, I know. Look at us go.
Oh, I'm so...
We can have lunch.
Oh, I love it. No, thank you so much again.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers.